Grandfather paradox. If you use a time machine to prevent your grandparents from meeting, you might stop your own birth. However, if you were never born, how could you have used the time machine in the first place? Achilles and the tortoise. A fast runner gives a tortoise a head start in a race. The paradox states that Achilles will never pass the tortoise because every time Achilles reaches where the tortoise was, the tortoise has moved a little further ahead. This continues indefinitely, making it seem as though Achilles can never catch up. Ship of Theseus. If you replace all the parts of a ship, is it still the same ship? If you then use the old parts to build another ship, which one is the original? Sorite's paradox involves a heap of sand. If you remove one grain at a time, at what point does it stop being a heap? Barbershop paradox. In a town, the barber shaves those who do not shave themselves. But who shaves the barber? If he shaves himself, he breaks the rule. If he doesn't, then according to the rule, he should be shaved. Catch-22 illustrates a situation where you need something that you can only have if you don't need it. For example, a pilot can avoid dangerous flights if he is insane, but asking not to fly indicates he is sane. Fermi paradox. If the universe is infinite, we have not yet seen any aliens. Opposite day paradox. When I say that it's opposite day, if I say it, is it truly opposite day? Simpson's paradox. When a trend appears in different groups of data but disappears or reverses when the groups are combined. This demonstrates that the overall conclusion can contradict the conclusions drawn from individual subgroups. Tolerance paradox. Unlimited tolerance can lead to the disappearance of tolerance itself, as it allows too much intolerance for a tolerant society to survive. Therefore, it must not tolerate intolerance. Bootstrap paradox. If a time traveler gives a young Einstein a book containing the theory of relativity, and Einstein publishes it as his own, who is the original author? Stockdale paradox. Believing you will soon succeed decreases your chances of actually succeeding. Meanwhile, maintaining a belief that you will succeed one day increases your chances of achieving that success. Jevons paradox. Technological improvements that increase the efficiency of resource use often lead to an overall increase in resource consumption because people tend to use the product more. Olber's paradox. Why the night sky is dark if there are a vast number of stars in the universe. Paradox of thrift. While saving more money individually is generally beneficial, it can lead to economic problems for everyone, resulting in reduced consumption and economic growth. Unexpected hanging paradox. A condemned prisoner is told he will be hanged on a weekday next week, but the execution will surprise him. As the week progresses, he reasons that Friday is the latest possible day for the hanging. If it hasn't happened by Thursday night, he concludes it must occur on Thursday, yet that would also be expected. Value paradox. Essential items, like water, are cheaper despite being crucial, while non-essentials, like diamonds, are more expensive. Pinocchio paradox. If Pinocchio says, "My nose will grow," if it's true, his nose should grow, indicating he's lying. If it's false, his nose shouldn't grow, but then he's telling the truth. Hedonism paradox. That the more directly one seeks pleasure or happiness, the less likely they are to achieve it. Crocodile paradox. A crocodile steals a child and promises to return the child if the parent correctly predicts what the crocodile will do. If the parent says the child won't be returned and the crocodile agrees, a paradox arises. If the crocodile returns the child, it contradicts its promise, but if it doesn't, it contradicts the agreement. Sword and shield paradox. The sword and shield paradox asks what happens when a sword sharp enough to cut any shield meets a shield strong enough to block any blade. Dichotomy paradox. The dichotomy paradox suggests that to reach a destination, you must first walk halfway there. To walk halfway, you must first walk a quarter of the way, and so on, creating an infinite number of steps and making it impossible to reach your destination. Fletcher paradox. The Fletcher paradox argues that although an arrow in motion appears to be continuously changing its position, at any instant it cannot move to where it isn't or where it is, making it seem stationary. Since time consists of these instants, this paradox suggests that the arrow is stationary the entire time. Grand Hotel paradox. In the Grand Hotel paradox, even if an infinitely large hotel with infinitely many rooms is fully occupied, it can still accommodate more guests. The hotel could hypothetically move each guest from room 1 to room 2, thereby freeing up room 1 for a new guest, since there are an infinite number of rooms. Card paradox. The card paradox asks, what is true if a card has the phrase, "The sentence on the other side of this card is true" on one side, and "The sentence on the other side of this card is false" on the back. Liar paradox. In the liar paradox, if someone says, "I am lying," and if the liar is indeed lying, then they are telling the truth, which means they just lied about lying. Grain of millet paradox. The grain of millet paradox states that when a single grain of millet falls, it makes no sound, but when 1,000 grains fall, they do. Thus, many instances of nothing become something. The truth is that it does make a sound, it's just so inaudible that we don't perceive it. Boltzmann brain. The Boltzmann brain hypothesis suggests that it might be more likely for a single brain to spontaneously form in a void, complete with memories of having existed in our universe, rather than for the entire universe to come about. Paradox of enrichment. The paradox of enrichment states that increasing the food available to an ecosystem may lead to instability and even extinction. Service recovery paradox. The service recovery paradox suggests that successfully fixing a problem with a defective product may lead to higher consumer satisfaction than if no problem had occurred at all. Stability, instability paradox. The stability-instability paradox posits that when two countries each have nuclear weapons, the probability of direct war between them decreases significantly, while the probability of minor or indirect conflicts increases. Ironic process. Theory, ironic process. Theory describes the psychological phenomenon where an individual's deliberate attempts to suppress or avoid certain thoughts make those thoughts more persistent. Paradox of choice. The paradox of choice states that eliminating consumer choices can be beneficial as it greatly reduces anxiety for shoppers. Birthday paradox. The birthday paradox reveals that to have a 100% probability of at least two people in a group sharing the same birthday, you would need 366 people. However, you only need 23 people to have a 50% probability. Schrödinger's cat. In quantum theory, Schrödinger's cat illustrates that a particle can exist in multiple states simultaneously when not observed, a condition known as superposition. When observed, however, the superposition collapses and the particle is randomly found in exactly one of those states. Hypothetically, if we place a machine that releases poison only when the particle is in a certain state in a box with a cat until observed, the machine would simultaneously release and not release the poison. Thus, the cat would be both alive and dead until observed, assuming we do not consider the cat or the machine as observers. Twin paradox. According to the twin paradox, the faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. If your identical twin became an astronaut and traveled at the speed of light, you would be several years older than him when he returned. Friendship paradox. On average, your friends tend to have more friends than you do. This occurs because people who are social and have more friends are more likely to be your friends. Raven paradox. The Raven paradox suggests that if you want to confirm that all ravens are black, finding a black raven supports your claim. However, the paradox also posits that finding something that is not a raven and not black, such as a green apple, also supports your claim. Temperature paradox. The temperature paradox raises the question, if the temperature is 90 degrees and rising, is 90 degrees itself rising? Interesting number. Paradox. There cannot be a smallest uninteresting number, as if it is the first uninteresting one, it becomes interesting for that reason. Thus, it follows that every single number is interesting. Irresistible force paradox. The irresistible force paradox asks, what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? Lottery paradox. In the lottery paradox, if there is one winning ticket in a large lottery, it is reasonable to believe that any particular lottery ticket is not the winning ticket. However, it is unreasonable to believe that no lottery ticket will win. Preparedness paradox. The preparedness paradox suggests that after preparing to avoid a catastrophe and successfully lessening the damage, the perception regarding the catastrophe would be much less serious due to the limited damage caused. Shout out to the first two patrons who support my channel. You can end up on this list as well. Check out the link in the description. If you need any more changes or have additional requests, feel free to ask.
I don't think you'll be able to click on the next video until time runs out. 3, 2, 1, you last.